Welcome to another episode of the You Only Live Once Life and Business Innovation Style. I'm Hani Yang Han, the author of that book, and also a coach and a meditation expert to teach you about how to achieve personal growth and some of the exercises that are related to it. So I'm going to share with you a couple of exercises that are my favorite exercises for personal growth. All right, so the biggest challenge is that oftentimes when it comes to personal growth, we are not putting it on our first and foremost priority. But since you're watching this, I'm assuming that you are. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe and also comment below or like and things like that so that we can continue this conversation with so much support. Okay, so personal growth. Personal growth is about growing in areas that are inside, right? So about things about your behaviors, maybe your habits, things that on a day-to-day basis, small changes that will make a big difference in the world, in the way that you show up to the world. Or another way of looking at personal growth is big breakthroughs that can really change the way that you are relating to all the things in your surroundings. So these two are main things about personal growth. And personal growth exercises are anything that can cultivate these kinds of behaviors or these kinds of habits or these kinds of attitudes towards life. And so the first exercise, we're going to do 5 exercises. So the first exercise that is very useful to understand where in your life you can actually create more personal growth in is by analyzing in your You Only Live Once wheel. We talked about this in the membership course, but also the book about how to see and evaluate different areas in your life and see how satisfied and fulfilled you are in those areas. And you can do that by either thinking of, work, relationship, health, money, finance, friends, family, different categories of your life, and you can identify which of these areas you are most satisfied and which of these areas you're least satisfied in. And then pick the least satisfied one and then look at that and say, okay, can I grow in that area? So that's the first exercise. Combine and evaluate all the different areas in your life, identify what's important and what wants to be worked on right now. Number 1. So number 2, different things that you can do to increase your personal growth exercise is to ask all your friends your strengths and your weaknesses and see and ask them to be honest with your weaknesses. Don't say anything. Don't try to defend yourself, but just listen or even record the things that they say. And then look at them and see if they're repetitive patterns of what people are feeding back to you and see if this is some area that you want to grow in, and then make a decision whether or not you want to go forth. Because the biggest challenge is a lot of times when we are living through life, we have a lot of blind spots and we can't really see, what is important or what is what other people are seeing that we are not seeing. And this is why having a coach and having a support system that is able to tell you that constantly that you're not going to defend yourself against, but you're going to work with is very, very useful and helpful to achieve fast and breakthrough personal growth. The third exercise that you can do is meditation. We have a ton of meditation on this channel as well as my insight timer and a ton of meditation on my audiobook that can allow you to get closer and closer to self-realize what areas of personal growth that you want. And this is a very, very important exercise because it actually cultivates that relationship and that connection between you and yourself and your inner self. And that type of relationship is really important because when you start hearing the voices within your inner self and the conversations and the dialogue between your inner self and you, then that becomes a much more supportive day-to-day champion and day-to-day connection that you will constantly be able to connect with and speak to and draw wisdom and insight from. And this is really, really cool. And it's one of my favorite ways of doing that. Of course, there are times where you want to deny it and you don't want to listen to it. And that's when you've got to see what's blocking you. So number 4 way of a personal growth exercise is actually to use process meditation and shamanic meditation to get rid of that fear and that stopper or that feeling of resistance or that fear of change. So when you've already identified a change that you want to make, and sometimes you don't want to make it, and sometimes years and decades go by and you still haven't made that change yet, whether that's leaving a job, whether that's leaving a person, whether that's leaving a country, whether that's change in a big way where you have to end one thing and you have to begin another thing, that is a very, very, very tough place to be in because you don't know, right? Like it's going from a known to an unknown, a safety to an unsafe, a I know what to expect to a I have no freaking clue. And that is something that scares most people. And instead of going forward because you don't see the immediate gain, most people just stay stuck, or they just ignore it, or they bury it, and they just don't allow themselves to feel like they deserve that change. And of course, sometimes it's giving up your whole salary to find a job that you like more. You know, it might be giving up a lot of material comforts, or relationship comforts, or attachments to one way of solving health, and maybe looking at an alternative way. And so whatever that is for you, realizing that there are things you got to give up in order to receive things that you want, and there's a big gray area in between. And so overcoming that fear is the fourth exercise. And the last but not least, it is to be able to do other things that scare you. So when you read the book, there's this one part in chapter 2 or 3 about your You Only Live Once YOLO happy list. And in that list, it's about your bucket list, but things that you want to do because you just always have dreamed of, but scares you to death. And those are some of the things and goals that you want to be working towards. And this is another exercise. It's just to list out every single thing that you've ever wanted to do. And really, really, like even the most uncommon out there thing, like, oh, I want to be an astronaut, or I want to be, I want to go to the Galapagos and sail the world, or anything that's out there, include that too. And any small thing as well. Get, what kind of family structure do you want? If you want a family, what kind of friends do you want? What kind of boss relationship do you want? What kind of work do you want? What's your ideal version of your life? What's your ideal version of your place that you live in? What's your ideal way of waking up? What's your ideal way of relating to the world on a day-to-day basis? So any of those things would work in that. So make a list of that, and that is step number 5. So with these 5 steps and these 5 exercises, I know that you're going to be able to get more clarity and more advancements towards your personal growth. Whatever it is, clarity and ideas are amazing, but it won't do anything until you take action. So if there's one exercise that you want to take action on, that is the one that you got to take the first step. Because the moment you ignore it, and the moment you just watch this video and just cut to the next thing, you're not going to take that action. And so that biggest tip actually for personal growth is to take action now. So whatever exercise that you felt that resonated with you, please take that first step. Pause this video, take that first step and do it. And maybe that first step is to subscribe to this channel so that you can constantly get these personal growth information and insights and related topics to that. Maybe it is clicking that like, maybe it's commenting and asking me a specific question about one of the exercises. Or you can go full on and actually make that list. You can breathe that meditation. You can go into that activity. So whatever that is, good luck. There's so many ways to do that personal growth, and exercise is just the beginning of it. It is a lifelong journey, and I wish you can take action right now, all right? Subscribe, like, and do all that things that you do to stay connected and to stay on this path. You are yummy in your body and yummy in your life, and I can't wait to connect with you on the next video. Mwah! From Belize, I'm in the middle of the forest sitting on a super tall plank and bird watching early in the morning. So I'm bringing you this positive energy and hope you have a beautiful day.